ladies and gentlemen, the LA Valiant just came through with the 3-1 victory over the Florida Mayhem, and they are inching very much closer to clinching that Pacific Division title and getting that playoff berth. So the home crowd, I'm pretty sure, is very happy about that. But moving on to our final matchup of the night, we got the Houston Outlaws going up against the LA Gladiators. This is going to be a barn burner, ladies and gentlemen. You heard me rant about this one on Twitter. Now, both of these teams currently this stage are sitting at 2-0. And in the overall standings, they're pretty much identical with the same record. The only thing that separates them right now is map differential. And I think the most important thing about these two teams to remember is in this current meta, they've both been very comfortable. So needless to say, this match is going to be a slugfest. So Blizzard Arena, if you're ready for our final match of the night, make some noise. And let's hop straight into this thing with Bucket in the band at the desk.
Thank you so much, Malik. That's right, we are back and we're ready for the final fight of the evening. This one gearing up to be the best fight of the week, potentially. You got the Outlaws, you got the Gladiators, and there is so much playoff implications on the line right here. Johnny, break it down for us. Show everybody at home where are we at right now in terms of the overall standing.
Well, really, Houston and the Gladiators, they're 7th and 8th in the season standings. And if you wanted to make it to playoffs, you gotta get at least 6. So this is the most important matchup, arguably, in the standings. A lot of money is involved in this one. So Gladiators, they have to win this one because they're lacking a bit in terms of map differential. They're only plus 11 so far. And realistically, if the Gladiators want to make it to the season playoffs, they have to get ahead in terms of wins.
This is also the Houston Outlaws' opportunity to prove that this isn't their classic. We start really strong out of the gates and then we fall over ourselves and fail for the
We beat London.
Yeah, exactly. They always beat London to start out a stage and then they tend to go downhill from there. But this to me feels like something different. This to me feels like stage 1 again, where they were a really dominant team and they understood the meta and they really had a good grip with it. So I'm hyped to see whether Outlaws can continue this trend, fix their inconsistency and beat the Gladiators.
The Outlaws are 2-0, Johnny. What's impressed you the most about this squad
really,
right now?
What Josh hit on, you know, their grasp of the meta. We talk about teams like Valiant, how they're looking pretty good, how Dallas are looking pretty good. You know, they figured things out a little bit. Houston Outlaws, I mean, they're fantastic so far in the meta, really, with all these different compositions. We've seen Muma even on the Brigitte protecting Linkser, and we've seen so many different comps from the Houston Outlaws that you really can't help but feel like they are ahead of the league when it comes to this new meta with Brigitte in it. And a lot less Tracer, Josh.
A lot less Tracer, a lot less Junkrat as well, and they've been focusing mostly on this kind of double sniper composition with Muma and Spree being able to profit from the space that that gives. And they're really good at, I think it's not just the composition that they use, but how they work it. You know, they're spreading out and taking all the right angles, their positioning is good, the little duos of synergy between players is excellent. So this, I doubted the Outlaws coming into it. I thought, I don't really think that they're going to be able to get back to where they were, but from watching them last week, they look phenomenal. So if they can keep up that trajectory, they're going to be potentially contending as one of the best teams this stage.
The Outlaws are 2-0, and in our first week, we gave Linkser Player of the Match honors, and we gave Jake Player of the Match honors. Johnny, who has more pressure as a DPS player today?
Well, I feel like Linkser has the most pressure because he's going up against Surefour, right, on this Widowmaker. But Linkser has been so much better this stage when it comes to the Widowmaker. He was fantastic in stage 1, and then he sort of dropped off a bit. He had to play a bit more Tracer, but now he's back on the Widowmaker duty, and I mean, you can see for the rankings themselves,
He's destroying.
He's destroying so far stage 4. So I really feel like if Linkser performs today and shuts down Surefour, that has to be your win condition for the Houston Outlaws.
11 final blows for every 10 minutes. Not a bad number there from your Widowmaker. That's a look at the Houston Outlaws, but the Gladiators, we know this is a squad that has added some new pieces throughout the season, and today we get a chance to see a brand new face in the lineup for the Gladiators. For more on that, we go to our insider Zoe on the floor.
Thank you so much, Pocket. Yeah, Void finally joined the Gladiators here in LA. About 2 weeks ago, he instantly started taking English lessons and has been integrating himself well into the team, according to their performance coach, Blake. And when I asked Blake what Void actually brings to the team, he refused to answer this question. He literally just told me, you know what, Zoe, we want teams to figure that out themselves. We don't want to give away anything, but as you can see on your screens right now, he's here, he's eligible to play, and you know what? We will be seeing him in the starting 6 for the Gladiators today, so we will find out what he brings to that team in just a bit.
All right, so their coach Blake isn't going to tell us anything. What can you guys tell us about Void? I've never watched this player yet.
I mean, we knew him as one of the best, if not the best diva in the world.
Yes.
Before they
Had a great reputation.
Yeah, before they changed the defense matrix from 4 to 2 seconds, he was fantastic on it.
Always used to play with Fissure as
Yeah.
well. He played in a team called Kongdu Panthera alongside Fissure. And Johnny was telling me he keeps getting destroyed by it in ranked as well.
I keep playing Void in ranked, and his Zarya is off the charts. The guy has like 4600 SR, 70% win rate with Zarya. It's impossible to beat this guy. He is so good on Zarya. So bring it out today on King's Row. We might see some good stuff.
70% win rate. That's good for ranked?
Yeah, that's pretty good for ranked, Bucket.
I'm around 37%. Wouldn't know. All right, guys, let's get the official predictions before we kick this one off. Big matchup, huge implications. Who takes a step closer to the season playoffs?
I think for me, it's got to be the Houston Outlaws. I've been bigging them up. I think this is their time to really prove that they are a top team in this stage. It's, for my money, if they can keep this consistent performance that we saw from them in week 1, they're going to be up there contend with NYXL for the best team in the stage. So this, I really feel, is Outlaws back to their full potential. If they can avoid tripping over themselves and having these inconsistency issues, I think they're going to take it today.
Yeah, but we hype up the Houston Outlaws so much on the desk, but I feel like the Gladiators, they have had perfect rotations as well with DPS. I mean, hydration, Chore4, etc. Still 30 is back in the team. But still, I feel that the Houston Outlaws, I'm predicting them to win again today because I feel like they're just ahead of the meta. The way they're playing double sniper compositions, the way they kill the Reinhardt to just get more effectiveness out of these guys, I gotta go with Houston for this one. I'm not a doubter anymore. Patch team, and this is their patch.
I want to see what the Gladiators can do to counter Houston because they are looking tough so far. Are you guys ready to meet the team both of our analysts just picked? Please make some noise and show some love for the Houston Outlaws. Bonnie, Linkser, and Spree, the first 3 out today. Spree most likely going to be back on that Zarya. What is Muma running today with Spree in the lineup?
Well, we saw a lot of Reinhardt last time around, so on King's Row, but a lot of teams have been favoring Orisa on the defense because then you have a bigger shield, you have more time to really get more poke in with the Widowmaker, Junkrats, etc. But I feel like we might see Muma on the Reinhardt for this one because I feel like the Gladiators, they are going to capture point A, and then we'll move into point B and point C where Reinhardt's Earth Shatter can maybe get some more value.
Josh, what do you want to see from the Outlaws today against the Gladiators?
I want to see more of this Ryan Zarya, particularly when Spree is in the lineup. I want to see them really push that to its full effectiveness. If they're running up against an Orisa where they can't quite get the value out of the Hanzo and the Widowmaker, that's the time where you'll potentially see some adaptation. But in general, I want them to play what they've been playing so far in week 1 and not overthink things too much. The LA Gladiators, if they've been preparing for this match, will know what Houston are going to come out with, but I think they can outperform them man to man. So that's what I want Outlaws to focus on, you know. Don't overthink it up too much. Just play what you were playing last week and play it better.
Jake, Mr. Steal Your Glasses, that's a look at the starting 6 for the Houston Outlaws. It's time to find out who is on the other side of the stage. Please welcome the Gladiators. Shaz and Big Goose, the Finnish support duo, gonna be out first behind them. Is that a hydration I saw in the mix alongside Void?
And this tells me we're going to see some Hanzo potentially, Chore4 mantling the Widowmaker, of course. So we've talked about this on the desk. Double sniper seems to be the meta, and hydration might bring us some Hanzo or some Doomfist. Is it going to bring out the Doomfist?
I hope so. I hope so. And you gotta love that Fissure welcoming Void to the stage. Has his arm around him, says, just get under the wing, buddy. I'll show you the ways.
Yeah, Void, Fissure with his little brother there. But I think Void coming into this lineup, they have to be trying to take pressure away from Fissure. Fissure is their star player on this roster. And if he's taking too much pressure from the double snipers, Muma's going to run over him. So they need to create space for Fissure. And I feel like one of the ways they can do that is start running Orisa a bit more, get the Houston Outlaws to change to maybe a dive comp, maybe more Junkrat, push them away from where they're comfortable, and then bring Fissure out on Ryan, where he can really have maximum efficiency. They need to be playing kind of counter comps. Gladiators have to push Houston away from this comfort zone to win, I think.
Johnny, can you please explain what Chore4 just did?
I don't know. I think it was some anime stuff. I
think
no
it's
idea.
a silver fox. That's what I'm going with today. That's a look at your starting 6 for the Gladiators. We have all 12 players on this stage, and to bring you the games tonight, we got Mani and Doa.
I see how it is. Just Monty and Doa now, not the great ones anymore. Wow. Puckett's opinion of us has dropped throughout the day. That's
well, I
rough,
don't blame
you know?
him after our first cast of the day, so.
Hey, I thought that was a pretty fun one. Oh, well, guys, here we are. It's going to be Houston Outlaws versus the LA Gladiators. This is a great match, and as the desk talked about, it has a lot of playoff implications. We're going to start things out on King's Row. And Monty, you had a play you want to talk about Houston's defense on this map.
Yeah, and as the desk was discussing, we do have a lot of double sniper on attack, but also as we look on defense here of the Houston Outlaws in their last week's match versus the Boston Uprising. Now, they had a great defense here, and what I want you to notice is Jake is going to be playing the Hanzo here, but he's going to be playing in a position that we normally see Junkrats play opposite the hotel. And the scatter arrow is going to be used like Junkrat grenades to sort of control the hotel area and prevent a flank on the way through. Now, the thing about this composition that's different is it's very powerful with Zarya. With the Dragon Strike grab combo, it provides a more reliable ultimate combination because if you're using the Riptire, it can get shot out. There's more counterplay to it, especially when you expect teams not to be running a D.Va that could eat the Dragon Strike in the first place. So this is an interesting adaptation to the defense. Houston Outlaws has been running a lot of double sniper, not only on this map, but on Hanamura as well. So situations you don't expect to see it in. As you can see right here, the grab, there was no follow-up damage from Boston.
True.
And so that's what Houston's been running. I do expect we might see it again today on their defense once we get past their attack, which will be coming first.
Yeah, not going to have to wait too long to find out. King's Row is our first map, as we mentioned. And it is going to be Houston Outlaws on the attack first, Gladiators on the defense. And this should be a pretty sick match. Like, this was a tough one to predict. You know, we have to make our predictions for Watchpoint, of course, every week. I think we all ended up going with Houston in the end, but man, it was tight. This one could go to Game 5, I would see.
Yeah, it's
Find
definitely
out.
a possibility. And
look at
here
this.
we go. Jake is going to be coming out on the Bastion. Now they're expecting the hard point on the high ground. Boyd will be on the D.Va, and so they're going to bust it this way instead of with dive or with a Junkrat. Creative play
Not
from
bad.
the Outlaws, and they're going to move them onto the low ground immediately.
You've got the Reinhardt shield, you've got the Zarya bubble as well, so you can keep that Bastion pretty safe if you manage your cooldowns well. And they're on the point now. Gladiators having to pull way back. They're on the hard point, but they're going to try to jump down on the Jake, and they do that. Hydration just drops a mine from on high, and there was no defense against that one. Outlaws still trying to muscle their way in there, and with the res on Jake, maybe they can do it. Void down as well, but Muma paid for it with his life. Lynx are taking the high ground now, gonna get up close and personal to Hydration, which is good in this desert climate. He's gonna push him back a little bit, but here comes a Riptire, and Spree's just gonna take one for the team. Houston does have to pull back, but they did at least come away with a tick on that first attempt.
And that was a tick, but they're going to have to switch it up now, most likely. Jake probably should get off the Bastion. Gladiators reacted really well, so they fell off the high ground, but it was only Spree above the Bastion. So 4 members of the Gladiators rotated back onto the high ground above Jake. And they may have to go through Hotel this time. We'll see which approach they want.
I'll find out. Spree obviously with a lot of great stats in the league. We knew he was a good Zarya, and now he finally has a meta to really put all those skills to work. Jake back in the corner again. That's Jake in the corner. That's Jake in the streetlight using his Bastion. Rockus gets a pick on the Shaz too. The opposite a lot of times with that Zenyatta. Big Goose gets the res though. Exposed. Lynxer can't finish him off though. Both Mercies using that Valkyrie. Now Lynx are getting chased away by Void. Gladiators still trying to hold it. There, now Spree comes in with the Graviton Surge, and that might be enough. It will be enough for them to eventually take this one. Void on his own. He's gonna get staggered pretty badly. Welcome to the Overwatch League.
We're going to see a little bit more charge here gained by Spree as he cleans up the baby D.Va. Great Graviton.
Yep.
To sweep up that fight, finding the Widowmaker and Mercy on the flank. We're to see it right here, pulling them off the high ground. Great grab.
Yeah.
And that really prevents any kind of follow-up that the Gladiators were going to be able to put forward.
True enough. Really a forward position taken by the Outlaws just to make sure that Gladiators couldn't come back and try to defend it at the choke like you see a lot of teams do.
And they're playing with the Bastion still. Jake,
Yeah.
as the tank form up, Lynxer's going to win the duel battle, or the duel versus Shirt 4.
Ooh, that was a close call. The tire detonated maybe a bit too early. Jake gonna go ahead and go configuration tank now to try to bust through this Gladiators defense and finish off point B. Trying to break the shield in more ways than one with this Bastion.
Mostly just a zone, though, in the end. Gladiators not opting into that engagement, obviously, and they have enough barriers that they can safely back out. Void on the Zarya now.
True.
Trying to stop up the payload, and Shaz is going to grab an important kill onto Muma after Bonnie has already fallen. That's going to be a retreat for the Outlaws.
Well, Muma went for the Earth Shatter, but it didn't seem to really amount to anything for the Outlaws as they were immediately pushed back afterwards.
They're going to be feeling okay, though. They still have a Graviton here. You notice Jake is going to switch up to the Junkrat, and the reasoning behind this is they have a grab, and they need damage to finish the grab. So now's a great time to make that transition so you actually have a functional combo instead of shooting into a Reinhardt shield when the other team is grabbed.
We've got a lot of time, too. Still about 2:40 on the clock for the Outlaws to finish point B. Rocket's down already, though. That's going to make them take a little bit more time here. Can they get the res? They do. Can they get the combos, though? They need something to pair with this Graviton Surge. Oh, but the kill on Shaz might pave the way. They're going to just go in. They've got 4 of them in there, and Jake comes in with all that damage. Works out well. Muma went through there with the charge, got the kill onto Fissure, died, but it did win Outlaws the fight.
And that's just a great setup. Jake was looking for that flank the entire time. They were slowed up because Fissure was actually on the high ground, and he killed Linkser on the Widowmaker because he was trying for a Reinhardt flank. But the kill on Shaz immediately reverses that. Jake is in position to put the damage down behind the Reinhardt barrier, and they come out with a fight win. However, Gladiators coming into this next engagement with some big ults, including that grab.
Yeah, that's right. Rockus pops a Transcendence, try to keep everybody alive. Doesn't save Jake, but it keeps him in the fight. Bonnie down, though. That's going to be a problem for the Gladiators. Void with a kill onto Spree now. Fissure a little bit low, but he'll stay alive. Big Goose getting the healing and the res on hydration. So Gladiators managed to hold, and now only about a minute and a half left in the clock for Houston.
And Gladiators will feel great about that. They didn't use the Riptire. They're coming up on both of their support ults.
Yeah.
Great discipline on the side of Los Angeles, and we'll see if the Houston Outlaws can work up any other ultimates besides this Earth Shatter from Muma before they get into do-or-die territory.
Muma's first Earth Shatter of the match wasn't the greatest, but maybe he could turn it around with this one. It's certainly possible. Riptire chases Jake down. Taste of his own medicine there.
And the thing is, he used his mind to get away from the rest of his team while trying to shoot the Riptire, so there's no chance of heading in for a resurrection, and instead, Houston Outlaws pinning their hopes on one final push to make it through point B.
That's the plan. 40 seconds left in the time bank for Houston Outlaws. It's now or never. They've got the Valkyrie and they've got the Earth Shatter. They are going to have a few more ults really quick here, too. Val?
Yes, Spree's got the Graviton, too, so they're going to be looking for those chances. Grab goes down first.
Yeah, that's right. Transcendence comes in from Shaz. Now Transcendence from Rockus responding. They knock down Fissure. There's a charge, and Jake gets 2 with the Riptire. They push Fissure back enough. There's a kill on hydration as well. Houston Outlaws certainly put those ults to work.
And look at that timing. They get Void while he has the Graviton up. Fissure about to hit his own Earth Shatter, but instead they chain CC with the grab and the Shatter, and they wait to use the Riptire until the trance is finished. That's great timing from the Gladiators. However, that's not going to make this next push any easier.
No, they still only have about a minute 20 on the clock now to finish point C, and that is usually very difficult.
So another
throw.
Yeah, another swap for Jake because Spree just used the grab. It is about 40%. They're counting on the Dragon Strike being up at the same time as the grab, so they can make it for one last push.
Grab, and there's Shatter right after that. Timing those CC ultimates pretty well, but there goes Fissure. Linkser getting him with the headshot right as he's about to charge Muma. Wow, I'm actually surprised Houston kept that push going.
And Linkser.
It's a Linkser show.
Yeah, it is a Linkser show. 2 kills onto the tank. Jake stays alive, so he's going to keep charging up that Dragon Strike. Spree was cut down early. Might be hard for him to get a grab in time, considering he's coming back with no energy.
Jake had the Zarya bubble for a second, was able to take a couple peeks against Surefour. The Widowmaker still needs to be careful, though. They only have 30 seconds left. Now he has to get away from that tire hydration coming in. Ooh, Jake shoots it down, though. Houston really needed that.
They really need is this grab Dragon Strike combo to finish the map.
Yes, they do. Surefour down. Linkser wins the Widow 1v1. He's been really back in form in that duel since stage 4 started. Spree gets a kill into Fissure, so Outlaws grinding this one out. It forces Shaz to use the Transcendence just to keep them into it. They're still gonna knock down Void. Muma's gonna take him out of the fight, and here comes the Dragon Strike into the Graviton. Nobody there to catch with it, but it doesn't matter. That's gonna be a completion despite the odds for the Houston Outlaws.
Very nicely done in crunch time by the Houston Outlaws, pulling it out the last second. Had they not hit that grab shatter combo at point B, there was a strong chance they get counter grabbed and everything stalls out, but they execute when it matters. And that's what's been so great about the Houston Outlaws in general. Now, they have suffered at times because on an individual level, sometimes they're not as good as their opponents, but when it comes to coordination, teamwork, ult management, planning before fights, these guys are top tier.
Let's take a look at Linkser towards the end of that last one. Yeah, sweet 2K starting it off with Fissure, and then one more onto Void. So eliminating both tanks, finishing them off anyway. Paving the way for Houston to finish. No time left in the time bank for them, but at least they got the job done. And we know what a good team this is defensively here, so they've actually put themselves in a really good spot on this map.
Absolutely. They've been full holding recently on King's Row. We look at them in stage 4 so far.
Yeah.
And we are going to see them play that double sniper that we looked at before the game on the defense. So look for Jake to be trying to hold the hotel position, and Linkser to be on the high ground looking for pick opportunities.
Gladiators on the offense. I want so badly to see Hydration pull out the Doomfist. It wouldn't be the first time. I think it's great on this map. I think it's great in this meta. With Void on the Diva, though, and Fissure on the Winston, I don't think that's what we're going to see. You never know.
It's interesting to me that Void wants to play the Diva on this attack.
Yeah.
If they're concerned about the double sniper, based on Jake's positioning, they may be trying to rush Linkser on the high ground, would be my guess, and try and eliminate him and take over early.
Okay, so they are going to run the Pharah, actually, and Hydration is a great Pharah player. We've seen it time and time again, but Houston with the double sniper defense should be fairly ready for this.
Raucus is actually on the high ground too, so they're going to start peeking around the side. Linkser is going to drop to the low ground right now as soon as he sees Hydration, and that means LA Gladiators is going to start to move to the upper halls while everyone from Houston's on the low ground behind the hotel now.
Yeah, Big Goose was able to make the jump and get to the tanks without getting sniped. Houston Outlaws by the hotel, so let's see what Gladiators' plan is here. Void's going to take the Orb of Harmony, and he jumps down. Rockets into the back of Houston. Jake gets Fissure, though, with that scatter arrow already. And Hydration on the run. He has to back away. Muma going after Void. Looks like he's going to get the D-Mech there. Spree's the one who picks that one up. Surefour gets Linkser, though, so Widow v Widow going the way of LA Gladiators. Gets Jake as well. Gladiators fighting back on this one.
Yeah, there was still one sniper in range, so the Resurrection only grabs one, and Surefour takes out both DPS in the end. So now we're going to see how well the Houston Outlaws can hold a player down.
Yeah, can Jake get back in time? That's the question. Oh, and Bonnie solo. Raucus taken out as well. And the question of will Outlaws hold has been answered. The answer for now is going to be no.
It's extremely hard to hold in that situation, especially when they're going to commit the Transcendence on the attack. Hydration can drop down into the radius and start to make more aggressive Pharah plays. That's exactly what he does. And we're going to be headed into the streets with 5 minutes remaining, so a lot of time left for the Gladiators, but they're going to switch up their composition. Now comes the Reinhardt and the Zarya. Surefour, another hot shot onto Linkser.
Yeah, I mean, Linkser's been great in the Widow v Widow, but if anyone out there can give him a challenge, it's certainly going to be Surefour, definitely one of our other best Widowmakers in the league. Jake, though, says, you know what? You can have all the Widow v Widow. I'll take the Hanzo versus Widow. Win that one instead. All right, here we go. Maybe combo time. It certainly is. Dragon Strike comes through, grabs 3, and that's the kind of wombo combo ult synergy that's been working so well for Houston here in Stage 4.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams to execute on it. Not only have we seen it on King's Row, but whenever Spree plays, it's always Jake that's playing with him. Whether it's the Pharah, they had some nice barrage combos against the London Spitfire with the use of the Graviton Surge as well. It's been fun to see the Outlaws really demonstrate great in-game communication to set all of these plays up.
Here we go, Valkyrie used.
So Muga was faking his shatter right there.
Yep, that's right, just trying to play the mind games again. Waiting for it though. Ooh, getting a little bit low, and Hydration the one gonna be finished off. Void, not too charged up, not too close to that Graviton Surge just yet. He's gonna back away, Linkser finishes him off. Uma drops that Earth Shatter. It's gonna be the Widowmaker, and the Hanzo with the cleanup. Snipers getting Houston that strong defense. So now 3:30 on the clock left. Houston basically spawn camping the Gladiators. Big Goose roasted by Spree as he tried to get to that upper hallway.
That's crazy value on that kill
Kidding.
too, because you got the Valkyrie out at the end of that fight, and you stagger Big Goose.
Yeah.
They need to start draining some time if they want to win this map, considering they gave up point A relatively quickly. And now they're trying to offset their ultimates. If Linkser can buy time with Infrasight, we might see another Dragon Hole combo, but that may not happen if Jake's gonna fall early.
Jake down already. Oh, Shaz and Surefour come in with a couple of their own too, so the defense broken. And Gladiators will get some real distance on the payload now. 2:50 on the clock. Outlaws have another chance to defend point B. They can set up towards the end of it.
I like the way Gladiators just rushed that. They knew they needed to go in. They had seen all of the Houston Outlaws ults used virtually except for that Infrasight.
Right.
So don't give them an opportunity to build up the Graviton again. Use it when you know you've got yours up. That's what they're going to do.
It's another Graviton Surge Dragon Strike combo ready to go for the Houston Outlaws. Spree getting his ult right now. And there we go. They're going to throw it in again. It goes through. They've got the healing from Shaz, but Jake still gets two. Any extra damage combined with that Dragon Strike is enough to go through Transcendence, and Outlaws know that. They will win that fight. Another big combo sends the Gladiators packing. Still 2 minutes, though, to get to the end of B.
Still, the delays have been good. Gladiators can come back strong, however. They can look at the Riptire just to open things up. Both Surefour and Hydration have been trying to target the Outlaws support. So Surefour's been trying some flanks on these plays. They want to disrupt the back line as much as they can and roll the fights up from there.
Yep. Yeah, Muma's got his, he's going to have his Earth Shatter really soon, and Jake is actually quite a long ways towards his next Dragon Strike. That's another combo you can go ahead and do. Hydration finds the kill on Muma, though, but Jake does finish Fissure. Both Reinhardt's down, and the Zarya shield on Big Goose to try to set him up for the res. He does get the res, but Shaz down. Links are going crazy now on this Widowmaker. In the back. Has to get away, has to find a health pack if he can. Meanwhile, Houston's still trying to hold at the end of B. There's the Graviton Surges for each team. Where's the follow-up? Dragon Strike comes through again, and no healing. That's the third one in a row now that Houston has put to a team fight win. And in the narrow corridors of Kings Row, without a diva on the other side, you are going to hit that one nearly every time.
Hey, that's a 180-degree crossfire, though, that we're looking at. Linkser was in the high ground on the back, sniping over the top of the team.
Ugh.
Very difficult once they get into that position to dislodge them or stop the damage from coming in. Another great execution by the Outlaws. And they're making the Gladiators fight for every inch right now. It's mind games around this Earth Shatter.
Well, they know Muma's got that Earth Shatter. They're trying to focus him right now, and they get him. Needed to kill him. That was so crucial.
They did, but the rest of his team wasn't there. So Houston Outlaws, there's a little lapse in communication because Muma's too far forward to really get healed up by his supports.
Yep.
And so they make them fight for that, but they may have left the Gladiators a window to actually make it in to the end of point B.
Fissure walking forward, gets the kill onto Spree. Hydration trying to seal the deal with the Riptire, but it gets hit by Jake. Muma's back. Okay, a big Earth Shatter could win it for Houston. Gladiators so close, they're into overtime. Oh, it goes through. They get the kill into Fissure. Jake finishes him with a Sonic Arrow. And now Gladiators in a lot of trouble here. Jake with another Dragon Strike ready to go. He can zone with it pretty effectively. Spree close to the Graviton Surge. We'll see if they wait. OT. It's going to be difficult for the Gladiators to push through either way. They're going to send it through along with the Transcendence to keep people healed. Crucial kills for Outlaws again. And now it's just Big Goose and Surefour, and that's not going to be enough. The Houston Outlaws will win Kings Row.
Excellent defense from the Houston Outlaws, and this is what we're talking about when we look at their synergy. The meta has swung back into the favor of teams that are very good at compositional changes and ult management, and that is a priority off of that individual ability that we saw teams use Tracer with great effect for a lot of this season.
Very true. No Tracer, no problems now for Houston Outlaws, though. Lead in this series. We'll see if they can keep it up in game number 2 right after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel. Intel Core i7 powers the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
doing this though.
It's Raucus with the kill on Asher as well, and then Raucus get out! Fisher's having none of it!
제 이름은 피셔이고요. 글래디에이터에서 메인 탱커를 맡고 있습니다. 오버워치 리그에서 MVP가 되려면은 제가 봤을 땐 세 가지가 기본적으로 필요한데 수많은 팬들, 그리고 최고의 명장면, 그리고 최고의 플레이가 세 개가 꼽히지 않는가 싶습니다.
And Fisher, yes, it goes primal. This is definitely not where you want to be.
일단 오버워치 리그 오면서 제 실력 같은 부분도 엄청 많이 늘어났고, 일단 기본적으로 팬들한테 사랑을 받는 거에 있어서 더 수많은 사람들이 저를 좋아해줬던 게 많이 좋아졌어요.
Fisher's in the back line. He's in the cookie jar. What does he get with this one? Asher joins him and they're able to get sleepy. I think Moss in deep trouble there.
다른 MVP 후보들이 누군지는 사실 정확히 알지는 못하지만은 제가 다른 MVP 후보 선수들보다 나은 점이라고 한다면은 경악할 만한 최고의 플레이를 많이 보여줬다는 거.
Anyway, in the big action! Unbelievable! Fisher brings the house down!
Welcome back to the Overwatch League. So much talk I think we're going to hear in Stage 4 about the T-Mobile MVP. The discussions beginning in earnest, in fact, and certainly Fisher definitely towards the top of that list. He's been a great tank, but Muma on the Outlaws has been pretty awesome too. I mean, if you compare these guys, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we can take a look at some of the Reinhardt statistics between Muma and Fisher because both of them have been very strong Reinhardt players. You know, Stage 4 is just beginning, but they've always been there. Fisher and Muma.
There they
Take
are.
a look right now. Fisher, of course, higher damage and slightly higher final blows. Muma going in with a few more charge kills, however. And Fisher dying a lot more. He is going to be the more aggressive option between these two tanks.
Definitely.
And he definitely goes for those big plays. You saw him talking about his MVP video. And Fisher's a player that, while the Gladiators may not be the best team in the Overwatch League, the noticeable jump in skill between pre-Fissure and post-Fissure is probably making him the most impactful roster move during the season. And certainly that does put you in the conversation for MVP.
Absolutely. And if you agree with Fissure being the MVP, you can hashtag OWLMVP. Put Fissure in there as well. Make sure you add
Jonak.
the gamer ID in there. I would put Jonak in there personally, but it's up to you. You can vote for whoever you want. But remember, again, to vote, hashtag OWLMVP. Put your favorite player's gamer ID in there. And at the end of the season, we're going to find out who wins it all. Could be Fissure.
It could be. I mean, it really depends on how the Gladiators finish out this stage.
True. Well, we got subs. It's going to be cool, Matt, coming in for Spree as we look ahead to Hanamura, and we have a sub on the other side as well. Bishu in for Void on the LA Gladiators side.
And I'm not surprised by this because we've seen Bishu be their Brigitte player, and one of the things that we've seen the Gladiators in Stage 4 run on Hanamura attack is like triple tank Brigitte, which I don't think is good, but it did work against Dallas. Now, we can read into that what we will.
If it's only bad if it doesn't work. Oh, you mean Dallas, the team that swept the Boston Uprising today?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Dallas
that's
team
what I
that
thought,
swept
yeah.
the Boston Uprising today. I wasn't a big fan of it. They may not run it again. If we do see it, the the Outlaws rather should be prepared for it. Now, Outlaws, they have liked to run a double sniper attack on Hanamura, so it wouldn't surprise me to see something of a similar nature once again. And
The Outlaws just kind of like to run that double sniper as much as they possibly can, it seems like.
It's working for them, and they're one of the best teams in the league at doing it just because they can use their ultimate so effectively.
Might see something a little bit different, though. I think we're going to see some last-minute changes. Yeah, we did see Muma play the Brigitte once in a while, but going to be some dive coming out from Houston Outlaws. Actually going to go for Jake on the Tracer, it looks like. Huh, okay. Elixir on the Widowmakers. They will poke a bit.
Now, this is a good strategy against what the Gladiators are running because you're going to be able to move them from the high ground and isolate Surefour on the side.
True.
The problem is that Jake's Tracer mechanics aren't great, so you have to be able to win some of these DPS battles, and they've zoned out Surefour, and now he's going to try and back cap this point.
Bishu sent to deal with Jake. He's going to try to live through that. Did end up using the recall, and whoa, gonna be sent flying by Surefour.
That's the problem right there, is that it's a great idea. Muma jumped back there, and they were both putting pressure on Surefour. Surefour grappled away, but you need to keep that zone up, because the Tracer needs to stay alive to either threaten the Widow or try and keep the back cap, because that's the only way you can get this Orisa and this Junkrat off the high ground and get through the choke. Okay, that can't happen either. He died on the way in, so they can't res him. So,
all right, well,
this is one of those times where the comp is perfectly fine, it's just the execution is a bit lacking.
yeah. And for a team that was so excited to not have to worry about Tracer in this stage, I'm kind of surprised to see them pull it out.
It's legitimately a great strategy for this situation. It's just you have to be able to get Jake back there. Jake nearly dies again trying to get through the choke point, and there's a Riptire.
Oh dear. Links are down as well. Shaz with a big pick on his side of things.
So Riptire goes down, but it doesn't actually de-mech Cool Matt in the end. They do keep him up. Linkster is going to be resurrected, and Jake is managing to make it all the way to the back, and now he's going to be on the back cap again.
Wow, they're going in with the Valkyrie now on the Outlaws side, trying to put a lot of pressure on him. Muma drops almost immediately. Can they maybe get a res? Raucus doesn't have a Transcendence to cover it, so I don't think they're going to be able to take a chance at that.
Now, Muma was trapped. And I think the reason why Outlaws don't want to run the double sniper is it would be ineffective against this Orisa. You'd spend all your time trying to shoot into this Orisa shield. You're trying to make it through the Junkrat spam through the choke. So not going to work against what the Gladiators are playing. Gladiators are ready, and they are looking good.
Houston Outlaws trying to push their way in again. Gladiators are going to have a lot of ultimate tools very soon to keep holding this one. Jake in the back lines, again trying to be now. Linkster gets a kill to Surefour. Finally setting one up. The Houston Outlaws want. He gets res though. There's a stick onto Bijou. He's going to get D-Mech. Pops that self-destruct, but can't live long enough to get back in. Hydration does get the kill on Bonnie though, as Houston Outlaws try to walk through the small room on the outside. Now Smoon with the Primal Rage. Grappling hook used by Surefour. Can he stay on? It's so close. And Muma has to jump back to the point, back to the healing. Hydration gets Raucus with the tire though. There's Surefour with another kill, so Gladiators still managing to hold.
That's all coming apart now.
Sure is.
As it's just going to be stabilization here from the Los Angeles Gladiators. Sure, they have to use a lot to do it, but so do the Outlaws. And they still have a supercharger remaining to help build up all the allies' ultimates should they need it.
Wow.
Jake's going to die late and get staggered.
I mean, Jake has died pretty much to everybody on the Gladiators at one point in time during this attack. Houston, though, I mean, you've got 45 seconds left. You're kind of committed at this point.
It's going to be hard to walk into this supercharger. They don't even have time to set up a long flank, which was the whole point of this strategy.
Yep.
I think right now you just stop trying to play the Tracer.
Okay. Well,
you can't res that either. You're going to get halted and destroyed if you try and walk out into the open, so it's another delay.
I think I can predict what Twitch chat looks like right now. Not going to say anything, but I think we're all thinking it.
It's been rough.
It sure has. Outlaws really struggling to get through the door here on Hanamura. They got about half the control meter filled up, so at least they got something, but that may be where it ends. They're going to go for one last big dive here onto the high ground. Coolmat nearly already demexed as he goes in. Muma just dead. It's going to be the Valkyrie. Can anyone get there? They do have the overtime. Bounty and Muma down, though, like we talked about. Jake does finally get a bit of revenge on the Surefour. Supercharger down. Gladiators push back. The tire could end it all. Houston's push already pretty much stopped. Only Jake remaining on the point. Muma trying to jump back in, but he's on his own. Raucus dives to the Riptire, and that is where the attack will end for the Houston Outlaws. Only 47% taken on point A. That one's a bit rough.
But credit to the LA Gladiators. That was an airtight defense that they had. They knew it was going to be effective against the double sniper, which forced Houston into a counter strat. And that counter strat is good, but as we talked about in the last game, the bright spots of the Houston Outlaws, look at that ult management they had. Look how excellent they played together as a team. The downside to the Houston Outlaws, when you need a Tracer player to make a big play on an individual level, you just don't have it. And on a strategy that is basically predicated around Tracer's abilities to make play, whether that's going to be to get a kill or even just to provide enough harassment on the back cap to dislodge the defense from the high ground. Neither of those things truly happened in this point, and that's why Gladiators are looking like the favorites here to win Hanamura.
Yeah. Both teams 1-0 on this map in the stage. Houston 3-2 overall, Gladiators 3-3 overall, so neither team overwhelmingly good on this map in particular in Overwatch League. Now we see if that Houston Outlaws defense that we talk up so much can really pull out a great defense and hold with Gladiators only needing about 47% to win the map.
Yeah, you take a look at that. Shaz, Fissure, Big Goose Hydration. 4 of the members didn't die on defense.
That's
it was
crazy.
16-3
Wow.
in eliminations. And nobody was really doing damage at all because Jake was charging his pulse bomb. He only had 2 in that entire fight, and he did 25% of his team's damage. So there was really like no damage at all anywhere coming out of the Outlaws because those setups were just foiled time and time again. Now, Outlaws are going to be on defense with the Junkrat and the Widow, so definitely comfort for them. And can they pull off on strong defense? Of course, we've seen them do it in the past.
That's right. Here we go. Houston Outlaws need a even tighter defense than the Gladiators showed us on their attack. And it's going to be Surefour throwing out that shield, I guess, to try to give his team some...
So they're scouting right now because they want to counter strat immediately, and the answer is going to be dive. Okay, makes sense. You want to just put pressure onto Jake and Linkser. They probably had guessed this composition was coming out just based on the Outlaws' history, but they're just going to go for it right away, and why not?
So did Surefour just get the most actual Symmetra time in Overwatch League?
He's up there. He's trying to, you know, be up there with Muma, I guess.
Yeah, but Muma did all of his spawn before the map began. I think that's the most actual Symmetra time. Like, oh, Linkser down hydration. A great pick there. Snuck up on him. Surefour down on the Gladiator side. So 1 for 1 in that early trade. Houston Outlaws pushed into the side room there. Now it's hydration on the point, putting pressure on already. Nearly reflected Raucus to death there. Raucus down, Fissure with the finish. Hydration being elusive here. Just being annoying, pulling back the attention of the Outlaws while Fissure just tears apart their backline.
All right, they did get the rip tire off, and Jake is still alive. This is the last hope, and it is going to demech Bishu.
That's something anyway, but there's so many Gladiators on the point right now, and as Muma falls, it's going to be nearly impossible to stop them. The blade is out, Jake is down, they don't even need it. Gladiators taking a very quick win on Hanamura and tying up this series.
Decisive play onto the high ground, too. When Surefour dies, the rest of his team dives up, and they're able to get the resurrection. That sets them up for a nice, easy win. Excellent preparation from the Gladiators against the Houston Outlaws. Attack on Hanamura. We are looking at a pretty good series.
I think so. Houston looking great on Kings Row, winning that one. Gladiators looking awesome on Hanamura. They win that one. Tied up 1-1 halftime when we come back.
Listen up, League fans, because the Shoutcasters need your help crowning the first T-Mobile Overwatch League MVP. Let your voice be heard. Cast your vote now on Twitter with hashtag OWOMVP and your player's battle tag.
are back. The Gladiators tie things up. It's all 1-1 here at the break. Welcome. We got Josh. We got Reem, of course. How we doing, fellas?
Doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But this has been a game that this is how we expected it to go, with both of these teams being really tight and performing really well, having cool counter picks. But Johnny was bothered by that, actually.
I was.
Yeah, because now you feel that little bit of regret, maybe?
Yeah, I
wanted to
was
pick the
close to
Gladiators?
predicting the Gladiators. I was. And I said if they win this series, it would be on Hanamura and Oasis, which is our third map in the series so far.
They're not going to win Oasis.
Looking at the Gladiators winning map 2, I'm feeling a bit regretful about predicting the Houston Outlaws. I still think they're going to win.
Sure.
Yeah,
Because you wouldn't go against what you said earlier.
Yeah.
But the Houston Outlaws did have a great performance on Kings Row.
Right.
They're such a good Kings Row team, and when it comes to this double sniper composition, they're just so good at it.
Yeah, they are so good.
It gives Boomer and Spree all the room they need to be able to carry it. And yes, this was Void's first showing, and yes, he had a good performance, but he was kind of on the side. He wasn't really the star of the show.
Gladiators, they weren't really playing to the fullest potential, I think, on this map. They were putting hydration on the Junkrat. My theory is that they were trying to win the Reinhardt war in many ways, so Fisher on the Reinhardt could have a big impact. But as such, you feed Spree the charge on the Zarya instead,
Yes.
and he builds a lot of Gravitons. Meanwhile, Void, as we expected, some communication issues and some Gravitons didn't pay off. Instead, it was the Houston Outlaws who got away with it.
That's brutal.
Brutal. Why?
Right through her eye. Hold
PG-13.
that.
What's going on?
And Jake, I feel, has really come into his own as a Hanzo specialist as well. Yeah, he's not getting the most individually flashy stuff in the world, but he's just in the right place at the right time, getting picks when needed and syncing up with these
Except for
grabs.
Hanamura.
Sure, yeah. When it comes down to Jake's Tracer, this is always going to be the weakness for them, and this is what we set up as the win condition for the LA Gladiators. Run the Orisa,
Yep.
force Houston to move away from the double sniper. They can't die.
And we talked about how do you counter this? Well, Winston compositions and generally with Linkser on the Widowmaker. But as we've said, Jake on the Tracer, it hasn't been this good. And so Houston, they're forced to play what they aren't really comfortable with. And then you see the Los Angeles Gladiators just steaming and getting the pick finally, and some highlights on top of
Heyo.
that. Heyo!
Hey, we got
So-
all kinds of tools.
Yeah.
Tied up 1-1.
But what I love is that you can see that both of these teams have put the preparation in. And in order to put prep against a team, you have to know what style their team is. And of the top 5 teams that we currently have in Overwatch League Stage 4 that are undefeated so far, there are big stylistic differences. So if we look at the Houston Outlaws pick rate here, this is their pick rate against the other top 4 teams. So they're in this top 5, and this is the other top 4 teams. You can see they're playing way more Widowmaker and Hanzo, a huge amount more Hanzo than the other top 4 teams, playing way less Junkrat and Tracer. This is obviously before the match that we had right now, and they're playing slightly more Brigitte. This is a very definite playstyle thing. They're playing a lot of this double sniper.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the LA Gladiators, it's almost the exact opposite. They're playing a lot more Tracer, or not a lot
No
more...
Hanzo.
Yeah, almost no Hanzo, playing a lot more Tracer than the Houston Outlaws, but still less than the other top 4 teams. And they're playing less Widowmaker. So, and they're still playing a lot of Junkrat. So
Yep.
the difference here between them, when they're trying to get value out of the Hanzo here from the Houston Outlaws, compared to the Hydration Junkrat we saw, is massive.
I mean, not playing Hanzo on King's Row, I mean, it's almost criminal, right? But obviously the Gladiators aren't feeling comfortable with the pick. I expected Hydration to come out with the Hanzo pick, but
Yeah.
instead they play the Junkrat. And sure, the Junkrat, it is very effective on King's Row, you know, we gotta be honest here.
But it
it's not
charges the Zarya, and it
Yeah.
isn't the greatest ultimate to use in the world either.
Exactly. Hydration got shut down all the time with these tires. So in many ways, the Gladiators aren't playing King's Row to the fullest potential in this meta as it is. And therefore, Houston Outlaws are getting away with it.
With the Hanzo, do they win game 1?
What, sorry?
If Gladiators
If they were
running
playing
the
the
Hanzo,
Hanzo.
do they win game 1?
I think perhaps, yeah. I think maybe if they were running the Hanzo, they'd be in a much better position. Because when you get to these maps like Hanamura, where you can play the Orisa defenses, that's where you see they can really counter-strat the Houston Outlaws. But on the maps where you can't play Orisa as much, I mean, how are you going to set up an Orisa shield on the payload when it's halfway down? You just can't. So at that point, you have to try and play what Houston are playing, but outskill them. I'm not sure whether they would have really been able to outskill them, but they at least could have gone for a better attempt than they did, I think.
Well, speaking about skill, we've seen some talented DPS players, right? But I feel like Muma's winning the tank battle.
Yeah.
Johnny, we asked the internet, what do you guys think? Both teams have great tanks, but who is winning the tank battle in this one so far?
That's so close.
So far, it says NYXL got the best tank duo in there. Who do you think is winning this fight individually, though? Because 31 and 29, that is very tight between.
Well, I
Houston
think
and
Houston
Gladiators.
Outlaws has a lot more value from their Graviton Surgers and their Earth Shatter. So I think that Boom and Cool Matt, you know, they got away with it. It was Spree who controlled the Zarya with the Graviton
Coleman's
Surgers.
actually got a 0% win rate in this match.
That's true. But, you know, Houston won the tank battle. That's what I'm trying to say,
And
Josh.
I think that's because they put so much pressure on Fisher. Because Fisher is just an incredible... We saw this MVP interview that was done with him earlier. And he is a genuine candidate for MVP, best tank in the league, biggest pickup, you know, any of these things that you want to throw out. But the fact that they have so much pressure on Fisher means that he can't play that kind of aggressive MVP star level, well, whatever tank he plays, you know, the Winston or the Orisa or the Rhine. So they're really doing a good job at shutting him down.
Shout out to Reinforces Reinhardt Rainbows. That is going to do it for our halftime coverage. When we come back, we got 2 more games, starting with Oasis on the other side of the break.
If you're in the Los Angeles area, come experience Overwatch League live at Blizzard Arena. For tickets, check out access.com.
Welcome back, boys and girls. We told you it would be a close one and a good one, and it has been thus far as we're all tied up 1-1 in this matchup between the Houston Outlaws and the LA Gladiators. And there's been a lot of good stuff in this match so far. We've seen a variety of heroes. We got to see Void in action finally. And there was a lot of talk about the duels going into this matchup, like the Widowmaker duels between Linkster and Shore4, or who would be the Grandmasters in Yada between Shaz and Rockets. But if you're a main tank, you have to be having your eyes on that duel between Muma and Fisher. And for all our Twitch All Access pass holders out there, you'll be happy to know that tonight's AMA is with Fisher, the main tank for the LA Gladiators. So if you want to ask him how life after the London Spitfire has been treating him, or how he feels about his new teammate, Void. You can ask him all these questions tonight after the matches have complete. And I do want to remind all of you guys who are Twitch All Access holders that if you want to see it, make sure you switch over to Command Center after the matches are over so you can see the AMA. Anyways, guys, it's a close one. It is anybody's game. Let's go ahead and get back into the action with our casters, Monty and Doe.
Thanks, Malik. That's right, we are back all tied up between the Houston Outlaws and the LA Gladiators, getting ready to move on to our next map. We already have some subs to talk about. Bring the action fast and furious here as we go to map number 3.
Yeah, just a sub.
We'll get there.
Well, just a sub though. It's going to be. I'm gonna spoil it though. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Spoil it.
It's gonna be Void. He's gonna be back in favor of Bishu, so that's gonna be interesting.
There he is.
We didn't really talk a lot about Void, which is a damn shame because
Didn't
he
get a
has
chance.
a rich history of being an Overwatch pro. So for those of you who don't know, Void used to be Fissure's tank partner on Kongdu Panthera, which was an Apex team. Void was at times considered perhaps the best diva in the world.
Easily.
Yeah, he was a fantastic off-tank, is still, we assume, a fantastic off-tank, has that synergy and relationship with Fissure already, and he was one of 2 players on Kongdu Panthera, so him and Waka Waka that were not picked up to join the London Spitfire. Of course, Fissure was then traded from London over to the Gladiators, and now Void has been signed, I assume, because Fissure wanted him on the team. So
also, he's just a really great
he's a great
player.
pickup.
I mean, it'd be foolish not to have him on an Overwatch League team, so glad to have him in the league, in the series, and we'll see if he can help the Gladiators take the lead here on Oasis. It's going to be our control map, and things are already getting started. Looks like you might see some far v far action here on City Center.
And that is what we're going to see as Hydration jets out the door. Jake has had some good Pharah performances recently. Now, this is a bit curious because last time they played Oasis, the Houston Outlaws, they did play Spree. So they're keeping Cool Matt in. So we're not going to necessarily see the big combos. Lynx are going to take out Shaz. Shaz is in a dangerous place, probably can't be resurrected right now. Though they're going to try. They're going to move in with Fissure. They are barely going to get him before the respawn.
Wow, and a kill on the Lynxer too. So actually that ended up working out really well for the Gladiators, and now Hydration with the air-to-air to take down Jake. Bonnie on the run as well, gets the res onto Lynxer, but now his tanks are in a little bit of trouble. Gladiators in control of the fight early on. And with the kill onto Cool Matt and Bonnie, that should seal the deal. It's going to be the control percent going first for the LA Gladiators.
And that has some excellent space control from the Gladiators. We saw it on Hanamura too, where they're able to get some pretty aggressive resurrections off by coordinating around their tank line, and Houston Outlaws not prepared for the dive in, lose their both DPS players post haste.
Raucus doing his best houseplant impression, trying to stay safe, and he does make it back to his team. Houston Outlaws trying to push again. Raucus in a bit of trouble now. Ooh, super low health. Cool Matt, though, does get the DMEC onto Void. Raucus getting a bit of shields back. Needs more healing, finally gets it. Hydration with the big barrage over the top. Raucus down early. Cool Matt nearly DMEC'd, but they ended up taking down Hydration, and Big Goose follows soon afterwards. So Outlaws fighting back. And we'll see if they have enough to push in here. Only Fissure, Shaz, and Surefour left on the point right now. But whoa, that is enough for Gladiators. They make it work. Shaz pops the Tranquility, or Transcendence rather, and keeps them alive.
I mean, these picks are killing the Outlaws right now. Shaz
what?
He got 4 on that last push. Shaz, deadly as the Zenyatta. Takes out both DPS and then both supports casually.
It was anything but tranquil. I was having flashbacks to my healing druid exploits in World of Warcraft. Tranquility thing there.
I don't know what that means, but anyway, we will be sure for get another kill onto Lynxer, which I do know what that means.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a relief. At least one of us is talking about the game we're casting. Houston Outlaws with a good amount of ultimates to come back into this push here. 85% though for Gladiators are really close to grabbing point A already. Gonna be a primal rage. Uh-oh, Shaz getting juggled off the map, it looks like. There he goes. Might have met a car there. Fissure got the kill on Raucus, so Houston Outlaws getting the kills they need to maybe flip this point finally. We're into OT though, 99% for the Gladiators. And they get the kill on the Lynxer too. Big Goose getting aggressive. Now Jake comes in with the barrage, trying to turn it around, and they do flip it at the last second. Big Goose suddenly manages to sidestep those rockets somehow while he got the res. Cool Matt with the kill anyway. But Fissure did come back up again, and with those tanks, Gladiators might be able to hold it long enough to flip it back.
I mean, this whole point has been a story of Gladiators being a player down and still going even in these fights, which keeps them on the point and available to move. Jake is going to be coming in late, and it's not before Coolmat gives his life. Nobody there.
Wow. Who's better than Fissure? Well, so far on Oasis anyway. No other tank.
Yeah, he looks pretty darn good there, providing a lot of cover and aggressive play for the supports. Void also doing some work, but really Shaz. I mean, we have to talk about Shaz when we look at that point. Had some massive picks when they were down players and saved the point from being flipped and dragged it out for their allies to respawn and the rest of the Gladiators to get on point.
Shaz just got super bloodthirsty towards the end of that one fight. It's a beautiful thing to see. Zenyatta can still put out a ton of damage if you're accurate. We know Shaz is definitely one of the best Zens in the league. Here we go. Going to Gardens for our second point here on Oasis. Outlaws try to tie up this map and send us to the third point.
Sherwood's going to be playing the Widow, but he has to play it into the McCree, so range advantage to him already. This means the Outlaws are going to have to be more aggressive, try and shut down Surefour. They can't give him any room.
Yep. Surefour getting chased off the high ground for the moment. Comes in with shots, trying to find Jake. Coolmat gets the kill in Hydration, though. Manny in a little bit of trouble. Surefour has a run. Took a bunch of Demon Rockets in the face. Lynx are getting aggressive, but got in the middle of everything there. He's lucky he made it out with his life, actually. In the end, nice shot on the Surefour. In the end, Houston Outlaws do take the point first.
Yeah, Gladiators are going to retreat and get the resurrection onto Surefour, and they know already Coolmat has been demexed, so they're going to come in on their second attack with an advantage.
Yep.
And now, even more of an advantage, as Banny is sniped by Hydration as he looks for the res.
I mean, that's a Pharmacy down, that's Lynxer down. Coolmat's got no support at this point. Should be an easy flip for Gladiators, and it is.
Gladiators going to start their first control of the point here on Gardens, and they already have that infrasight to slow down the Houston Outlaws' advance. Not sure this McCree is going to work out for them in the long run. As you can see, he's already trying to deal with Lynxer at range.
Yeah. Who dives in? Whoa, that was aggressive. Lynxer rolling forward. Getting the kill. Man, that's the kind of stuff I like to see out of a good McCree.
I mean, the price is going to be pretty severe, though, Dylan. Lynxer's going to pay for it with his life as Fissure pops the Primal Rage to handle him. And now the Gladiators are still going to be on the point in a 5 versus 3.
I still like to see it. I'm not going to take that back. Jake down, Big Goose fighting for his life. Now Bonnie trying to fly away from the fight. Both Mercies exiting as fast as they can. Gladiators still building that control percent.
Yeah, the problem is you get that kill, but then you're standing there as a cowboy with no rolling ability and a couple of tanks.
My kingdom for an old Western horse.
Exactly. But unlike, well, actually, exactly like Richard III, he's not going to get a horse, so
no.
There you go.
He's just dead.
He's just dead.
That's how it goes.
Exactly how Richard III ends. Spoilers.
There you go. He died. Snape kills him. Spoiler alert. Snape kills Richard III. Houston Outlaws gets some kills themselves as they try to flip this one back again, but Gladiators already up to 75%. Lynxer, though, going crazy. Whoa, that's a DMAC. A couple kills, finally eliminated by Surefour, but he did work at Houston. Gonna finally flip it back.
Have an easy resurrection, too, to follow it up. So now the Outlaws have an ult advantage. They're standing here on the point. They've got a long way to go. They only got in the teens and percent on their first capture.
All right, well, if Lynxer can position himself well, never mind, Jake kills Hydration. I was gonna say you can handle the Pharmacy with a good Deadeye, but Hydration down already. Big Goose gets a res. They were able to protect him. Big Goose, whoa, Lynxer just pounces off of Mercy and does a 180 for the shot to finish him. Void in a lot of trouble, but he's got enough in him yet to run over Lynxer. Self-destruct comes in. Bonnie gets a res on the McCree for Houston. Lynxer back again. And now Shaz used that Transcendence, but I don't think he got a whole lot out of it. Hydration down, and Houston Outlaws holding 70%. You know, like we said earlier today, we see this point go to 99, 99 a lot. That might be the case here too. Support's falling left and right. Fissure with the Primal Rage takes out Lynxer. But now it's just Coolmat and Muma trying to keep this point alive for Houston. But Gladiators look like they're gonna flip this back. We'll see how long Coolmat and Jake can hold it for. Muma running out of life. Jake gets 2 at the barrage though.
It's something at least, but Moom is coming in with 0% ult charge, no Primal Rage.
It bought a lot of time, though. 92% for Houston.
It did, and they have time to regroup, crucially. Yeah. And also the Gladiators had to use everything they had to retake. Not looking pretty from the Outlaws side, though. They're not close to a support ultimate. How much work can one Deadeye do? Linkser is going to answer that question.
That's going to have to be the best Deadeye ever, basically. Cool Matt jumps on the point. We're into overtime. Gladiators on the verge of winning the map. Sure for the kill on the Linkser. Deadeye not going to do anything because it doesn't get used. Big Goose down, but Cool Matt popped out of his mech on the Outlaws side too. Hydration with just a bit of health left, trying to stay alive. Sure4 lining up some more shots, trying to stay safe. All they need to do, play cautiously, eliminate the Outlaws. That's exactly what they're doing. They lose Shaz, but now it's only Cool Matt on the point. He's going to pop that self-destruct. Doesn't get back in, and that's going to be Gladiators taking Oasis and taking a lead in the series.
And these are the maps, as Reinforced said on the desk, we expect the Gladiators to do well on. However, coming up on Dorado, I think you tip that back in the Outlaws' favor.
I think so too. I mean, Dorado, a 4-2 map for the Outlaws, 3-3 for Gladiators. They're looking good today, though. We'll see if they can win it, or if Houston Outlaws will tie it and send us to a map number 5. Don't miss it, guys. We'll be back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel. Intel Core i7 powers the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever.
And the Houston Outlaws are dominating.
Oh, the Gladiators, they play it real close, man.
Houston now in prime position.
And it's time for Sure4 to let it rip.
Linkser is on fire here on Blizzard World.
Shaz with the trance.
Gladiators right now. This is it, their moment.
The damage control from Houston has been fantastic.
Out and out brutality.
Welcome back, guys, to the Overwatch League. This is a huge match with playoff implications. It's going to be the Houston Outlaws versus the LA Gladiators. Map number 4, Gladiators winning on Oasis, putting themselves in a position to win it all right here. But Houston, historically, has been pretty good on this map. I think we're very likely to see a map 5.
Yeah, and both of them have pretty heavy winning records on Nepal, too, so it really could come down to the wire. Now, when we talk about playoff implications, what this means is not for necessarily the stage playoffs, although that's still in the picture as well, but the overall season playoffs. And why we say that is that both of these teams are currently outside of the top 6. But whoever wins tonight is going to tie Seoul when it comes to wins. Yep. And then if Seoul loses, there's a chance that that team will surpass Seoul in the playoff standings. So probably both of these teams are not going to make playoffs, but one of them still can. And this win matters so much.
Absolutely, especially with how Seoul's been performing lately, too. Bishu in for Void in terms of substitutions on the LA Gladiators side. So, time to go to Dorado. It's going to be our escort map for the day. Anamur and Oasis going the way of the Gladiators. They have taken the lead in this series. Like we said before the break, though, on Dorado. So far, Houston 4-2 on this map overall. Gladiators 3-3 in the Overwatch League. Houston has yet to play it in this stage. Gladiators have, and they won. So they have that going for them at least.
Yeah, they do, and they're going to bring out the Orisa. The desk was talking a lot about how this does shut down possible double sniper attacks, which, again, we haven't seen, like you just said, Doa. The Outlaws play this map in stage 4, but they may bring something like that to bear, and they may have to switch it up. But on the defense, I think this is obviously a great map for the side of the Outlaws. On points A and B, they can play Junkrat Widow. They can switch to Brigitte on point C. So it does play into their wheelhouse.
You're going to hear that melody in your head for the rest of the century. Thanks, Cool Matt.
Fun fact, you can actually play the Futurama theme on those bells.
You can come close.
In Dorado.
And Muma low already as we come out of the gates for the Houston Outlaws. Houston Outlaws on the attack, of course. And they are not going to go for the double sniper. They're going for the pick comp.
And they're going for Raucus, where they typically play him on Junkertown on the Roadhog. Now he is going to be a solo flanker, looking for pick opportunities, as you note.
Bonnie, the solo healer on Houston with that Mercy.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of watching the Outlaws play Junkertown, so they're applying a strategy they've used on a different map over to Dorado in stage 4.
Yep. Pretty good map for the Outlaws. As far as escort maps go, as long as it's not called Route 66, they're usually pretty good. Bishu with the kill on the Jake, though, starting things off. Gladiators forcing a 6v5 situation. That's going to force Houston to back off.
Jake a little bit ahead of the payload there. Picked off, and it will just be a quick reset here. Rock is still going to be looking for hook opportunities in the front. And now that Jake's back, they're just going to dive on in and see if they can get a halt hook combo. They're going to pull him on the side of the Orisa shield. No damage, though.
Yeah, getting aggressive here. Raucus actually turned and looked at that graphic for a second. Looked at the spray on the floor. I thought it was a real trap for a moment there. Hydration. That's a real Riptire. Gets Raucus with that.
No Riptire spray fooling him. Just the trap spray. And they can't follow up with a hook right there with Raucus dead, but they're still moving forward with this, thanks to Linkser and the infra side hitting some shots.
Yeah, Linkser steps up and goes, you know what, guys, I'm just going to carry us through this point if I can. Bishu with the kill on Bonnie, though. Linkser trying his best, but the Gladiators pushing back now with some kills of their own. Jake's going to have the Riptire when he respawns. It's already been a pretty long defense by Gladiators, but Bishu's just going to smash Linkser into the ground, and that's going to be a reset for Houston if it hasn't been already.
Oh, that could be a disastrous hook, though. He is going to get out safe. That could have been very bad.
He is so lucky he got out of there.
All right, if he has to use self-destruct right there, that'd be problematic for the rest of this defense.
Yeah.
Try and throw out the self-destruct immediately to zone them out. However, nobody going to fall because of that. And now the whole hog doing work.
Absolutely, man. Rock is just waiting forward with that Roadhog ultimate. Gets one, Surefour finds the pick on, or gets picked rather, and Big Goose gets a res just in time, but doesn't live. Looks like Houston's gonna win this fight. And they should be able to get A. Yeah, they did just get point A during that fight.
Saving that Valkyrie too. The self-destruct was trying to push the Houston Outlaws into a specific position as we look right now. But unfortunately, Hydration is then in a position to get hooked, and then the whole hog just destroys, vaporizes the barrier.
Yeah.
So it actually does them a lot of favors to have to rotate around the side like that. Gives them much better positioning.
Well, Fissure did try to use Halt to pull people into the self-destruct that Bishu threw out there too, but luckily for Houston, they had a shield there to put down to keep them safe. Muma swapping over to the Orisa now as they move forward here.
So they're still going to go with this. Raucus not switching, even though playing heroes with an inability to get on the high ground on the attack can be risky.
Good pick onto Fanny from Hydration. That hook's not going to find its mark. Houston, though, still have a lot of tools to work with as they try to push forward.
Fanny coming back now with the help of this Impresight. Linkster's going to flank all the way around the back, and he will take out Surefour. Shaz is there trying to get the coverage. Need to get the resurrection down, but that's going to open up a lot of movement for the payload. Linkster really helping his team out.
Surefour takes a shot, has to back away now. Linkster taking him out of the fight semi-effectively. Then Raucus finds him with the hook, tracks him down in the side rooms. Linkster down, Hydration gets that kill. Meanwhile, Houston definitely stalled out a bit here. They got the payload quite a bit. Wow, what a hook onto Shaz! Seriously? Transcendence used by Gladiators as they try to stay alive in this fight, but Raucus pulls out the whole hog. Fissure getting pushed back, and he's gonna just barely live for the moment. That Transcendence was still going for a little bit. Another nice hook from Raucus. Man, Raucus has been doing great on this Roadhog.
Raucus was great on Junkertown on this Roadhog. However, Jake falling to the self-destruct. Hydration pulling out the Riptire and picking up a late elimination will push everyone on the Outlaws back to spawn.
Jake finally falls too.
Yeah, Jake gonna switch over to the Hanzo, and now they realize they are not going to be able to play this Orisa through the next point. They need more mobility to get onto the high ground and to evade their opponents. So double sniper it will be. And the reason why they can run double sniper here is because it's easier to set up a crossfire on the high ground on both of the bridges that you're seeing on your screen right now.
That's right.
So the Orisa barrier is not going to be as impactful as it was earlier in this map.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what stats come out of the Widow v Widow duel in this match. This has been quite the battle between Surefour and Linkster. Jake trying to give a little bit more vision to Linkster maybe in that Widow v Widow. That Sonic Arrow. Watch out, Bishu sneaking up on him here. Not too subtly either. Takes some shots, has to run away here. Rockets down though, Fissure with a big pick. It's been pretty back and forth here on point B, but there goes Bonnie. Outlaws are gonna need to back off again. That's a D-Mech onto Bishu. That really didn't need to happen. Poked the edge of that ledge, and that might be a problem for Gladiators actually when they come back. Although if Linkster just kills him, now he gets to come back with mech, so. See what Outlaws can do. If they push fast here, they can have the 6v5. Or 60, yeah, I guess Bishu's back.
Yeah, they are going to set up fast here. Bishu is revived, but he's not in this fight.
Yeah.
So it's going to start out without Bishu. Jake can't get a good flank, though, and now Bishu has returned. So back to 6 versus 6 status right here, and Gladiators are going aggressive, but Fissure will eat a scatter arrow deep in Houston territory.
You do not want to jump into that. Dragon Strike sent through. Jake trying to push the Gladiators back in, scatters them off of that high ground. Now it's going to be Transcendence for Raucus as the Gladiators try to hold here at the end of B, but we're into overtime. Hydration sends in the Riptire and he gets a kill on Namuma. Just cool, Matt. Now he's out of the mech, uses that self-destruct. He's not going to get back in it. Hydration had a mine waiting for him right away. That should be about it as soon as Linkster's dealt with. Does what he can, but that's overtime expiring, and Houston Outlaws will not quite finish B on their attack round.
No, and I think the Outlaws just needed to switch a bit sooner. The Orisa comp was stayed on for a bit too long in point B. And by the time they get to a little bit more mobility with the Winston, it's too late. Gladiators holding strong here. Houston Outlaws have to put up an equally tough defense on this round.
Very true. We saw the Outlaws able to make it work on King's Row. But it's going to be tough here. I mean, that's a point where the payload doesn't get stopped too often on Dorado. Usually it's point C that causes problems for the attacking team, so it's going to be tough for Houston, no doubt.
Yeah, and especially because if we think about what the Gladiators have done earlier in this match, and also on their performances on Dorado in this very stage, they do like to run, dive, attack, at least on this first point, and it was so effective at breaking down the Outlaws on Hanamura. They have so many choices, though. You can flank with Afara on this map to try and disrupt the Orisa defense, which is what the Houston Outlaws are going to bring out.
Yep. All right, Gladiators still milling around in spawn. Still have my dream of seeing hydration on the Doomfist, but not today, looks like. Surefour might be running that Soldier 76, which is something we see once in a while.
I think
not as often as we used to.
They're going to play Tracer Genji Dive, or they're going to play Pharah.
Think so, right?
I think that's really the...
Hello. Ah! Oh, jeez. This is a tough-looking guy. I would not want to suddenly find him standing behind me or something. Or rocketing into me. That's a bit more scary, I think. Here we go.
Yeah, usually you never see Doomfist that close because you're already dead.
Yeah. Or he's just not being played, one of the two. All right, it's going to be the Tracer Genji Dive from the Gladiators as they get things started here on Dorado.
So Fisher's already on the flank with hydration. They know what their win condition is. They want to disrupt the DPS as fast as possible. You know, think better of it, though, is Jake is going to leap up there. Okay.
Brave.
Yes, that was very brave.
Really wanted that health pack, you know? Sometimes you just got to get that health pack.
Say that concussion mine to live dangerously.
That's right. Well, Danger is his middle name. His name
Jake
is
Danger Lion.
Yep. Danger Lion. Oh, Bishu gets Raucus early on. Before Raucus takes out hydration, though. Outlaws holding for the moment. Surefour. Inside trying to build up that pulse bomb. Now he brings Raucus back to the fray, but Shaz with another pick. Well, that's Zenyatta. Oh, and there we go. Linkser from on high. Finishes off Surefour. So now will be Houston getting a little bit of defensive stability here. Bishu's still pushing the payload, but not going to be able to get it too much farther.
I mean, they can't walk up on the payload because Benny's dead, and they don't necessarily have the healing beyond just the orb from the Zenyatta. But with Surefour down, it'll give them a little bit of breathing room. Crucial kill. Links are already with the infrasight, so they'll see the Bishu hydration flank that's coming through. They will not be surprised by that. Jake doing a good job of controlling this wall right here. Venomine also going to go down onto it.
Yep.
And they have been just peeking very deliberately over that wall with Benny or Jake, making sure they know exactly the angles that are coming from. Hydration got through, though.
Fisher takes a lot of damage as he comes in. They need to heal him, and quick. Surefour down. Jake with an early kill on that Junkrat. Now it's a Battle Mercy. Linkser on the run, getting chased down by Big Goose. But Big Goose finds himself on his own, barely gets back to his team in time. It was a dangerous move, but it did push Linkser off that high ground. Hydration gets some healing from his end. There's the self-destruct. Hydration has to get out of there. Oh, he stepped in the trap. Oh, no.
He was setting up for a post-trance Dragon Blade.
That was beautiful.
Backs up into a Junkrat trap as the self-destruct goes down. Hydration on the cusp of a big play, but foiled in the end.
Oh, that one stings. Hurts a bit.
He's still going to have it on the next engagement.
Yeah.
And Fissure, we know what this man can do with the Primal Rage. Raucus has a trance, but they can push him out. It's going to be a 4-player flank around the side.
Yeah, they're going to force everybody into the room here. Hydration down again. He can't use that blade. Oh, but Surefour right there with the pulse bomb. Gladiators getting the kills they need. Fissure with the Primal Rage, and he's going to be able to clean everything up. Cool, Matt and Muma, the last one standing. They'll get dealt with, and that's going to be point A taken by the Gladiators.
I mean, you could focus on killing that Genji, but guess what? Surefour's still going to be there, and so will Fissure with the Primal. Gonna slide in there and get a very beautiful pulse bomb. Takes out 2 and the supercharger. And now 3 minutes remaining, and they don't have to make it all the way through B. Solid first defense from the Houston Outlaws, but more work still to be done. And they decide now is the time for Jake on the Brigitte against the die, but Surefour already reacting, and he's going to be on Widowmaker.
A little under 3 minutes on the clock for Gladiators. to try to win this map and win the series. Hydration stunned with that shield bash. But now Jake down on the low ground has some support from Coolmat trying to get out. Wow, Coolmat bailing Jake out there as Gladiators tried to take advantage of him being a little bit on his own.
Coolmat's been on point. His DPS protection this map so far has been great. Reacting to these flanks.
You're saying Brigida's DPS now? I can't disagree with you. Nice shot from Surefour to get Linkser here. Oh, Rez. Canceled. Banny knocked out of that one. Hydration comes in with the kill on Raucus as well. Gladiators looking really good. That payload's going to get some distance as soon as they deal with Muma.
But Muma's been on the payload this whole time.
Yeah.
So as soon as they started losing that fight, Muma knew they had lost it. So he just goes to the payload and stands there.
Yeah.
And that forces everybody back. That's going to give the Outlaws another opportunity to defend before they cap.
That's really the only thing that's going to give Houston Outlaws a last
smart
chance
play.
to defend it.
Smart play.
That's right. He was setting up his team for last-minute defense. They got to get there, though, and they do just barely. Linkser down early. Shaz with another great shot on that Zen. Now it's going to be Raucus running into with the Transcendence. Bandy gets a Reds onto Linkser here. Coolmat on the payload. Big Goose down. All right, they're starting to push the Gladiators back again. Hydration still sitting on that blade. Now is the time to pull it out. He decides now's the time to try to win the map. He's got the health to do it. He cuts down Jake. Looking for more than that, though. Shaz eliminated by Coolmat. Gladiators got a couple kills, but they're going to need more. The respawn's coming pretty quick for Houston now. Self-destruct doesn't catch anybody, but it does keep the delay going. Raucus with a big kill onto Big Goose.
That's actually a huge kill right there because that was one of the major reinforcements, and now the Outlaws are all back. They're going to stabilize.
Yep.
Oh, the price. The price was dear. 5 ultimates it cost the Houston Outlaws, and they barely hold on through the Dragon Blade. Big Goose once again onto the Mercy. 1 short minute remaining. Banny can't die now. He cannot die. He needs to get his Valkyrie back up if they are going to hold.
Yeah, if Houston can hold for just about 45 more seconds, they'll be able to force a Game 5. Gladiators so close to winning this series. Remember, it is very possible that this determines who has a better chance or who has a good chance of getting into the playoffs.
Houston's hiding in the bank right now. It looks like they're going to come out eventually. Are they going to try and flank? Muma's already in the back line trying to get Big Goose and Shaz.
Yeah, that's right. Houston jumps on the point. Now Linkser with a big one onto Surefour and the Widow v Widow. They're onto the payload. Coolmat down though. Hydration with a crucial whip shot kill. Now he's in there trying to deal with Muma in that primal rage.
He's trying to farm his rally as fast as he can on the 1000 HP Monkey.
Well, he's doing it quick too. 80% already. Houston Outlaws losing people left and right. Now the Transcendence comes in though from Raucus, trying to bail out the Outlaws.
Double rally goes down. Surefour kills Linkser.
Oh boy. Muma really low. Banning gets the healing. There's Fissure with the bigger shatter. Muma knocked low, and he's gonna get finished off by Surefour. This could be it, Bijou, with the self-destruct. Nobody able to get close to the payload. Now it's just Bonnie and Raucus, the supports, trying to save their team, but it's not enough. And the Gladiators will take this series 3-1.
What a close series across the board. Gladiators come out on top, and that is great news for their fans because season playoffs are a lot more likely with this win today. They needed this one.
Absolutely, and man, what a performance in the end for the Gladiators. Being adaptable, swapping things up when they need to, playing the meta well. It was a close set of maps, but it's going to be the Gladiators today, and the way things are shaking out, like we've said so many times in the series, big things to think about with the playoffs with this team now.
Definitely. And they had a great read on the Outlaws as well. A lot of credit, I think, due to the Gladiators coaching staff. Their strats certainly viable against what the Outlaws had displayed at the start of Stage 4.
Absolutely. Great series to end the day, guys. Definitely don't go anywhere just yet, though. The desk is going to break down those maps and tell us just how the Gladiators were able to get that win over Houston. Don't miss it. We'll be right back with that after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Can we go? I'm starving.
Yeah, almost. Just need to adjust a few more things.
Are you serious?
As serious as safety. So yeah, very serious.
Right.
You good?
Yeah, very good. And ready to get some food.
Almost got it all just right. 10 and 2. Well, now I gotta start all over again.
Oh, come on!
Stay one step ahead in the Toyota CHR. Toyota, let's go places.
The Gladiators get the job done tonight, and they pull away with a 3-1 victory. We got Sideshow, we've got Reinforced to walk us through games 3 and 4. And fellas, let's start with Control.
Yeah, Oasis, man. Coming into that, you said if the LA Gladiators were going to win, they were going to win on Oasis, and they were going to win on Hanamura as well. And really, it was all about hydration on Pharah for me. He was having a fantastic game and just destroyed Jake in the 1v1 matchup, and there was nothing they could do to try and keep him in place. There's a lot of names that we talk about when we're on about the best Pharahs in the league, but I feel like hydration's one we sometimes don't talk about enough compared to how good he is.
Well, I mean, who would you say we talk about a lot?
Well, we talk about like Splendor, we talk about...
Hydration should be up there.
He definitely should.
Yeah.
His mastery of this hero is fantastic, and I feel like it was a massive result as to why they won on Oasis here.
Basically, I said that if the Gladiators win, they're going to win Hanamura and Oasis, and my win condition for Oasis was just like hydration, Pharah. That's pretty much it. Because he's so good at this Pharah that it's so hard to shut him down, and really in this meta, when there's so much going on and you're playing versus Fisher, and even Chaz in the backline on the Zenyatta, he did so much. Honestly, like, Hydration got so much space to do his thing on the Pharah.
He did, and I feel like Linksa didn't have as great a match overall in general compared to what we see or have seen previously last week. We were talking about the inconsistency or the consistency factor, and Lynx had some good moments, but it wasn't that absolute domination which we were expecting from the Houston Outlaws and Lynx in general coming into it. I really felt like that was a potential weak link, especially when we went into Dorado, because their offense didn't get as much mileage as I was expecting.
No, they didn't really. And I think it comes down to them popping off, as you said, overall. But the Gladiators, their defense was so on point, really. We just have to say that they were so good in preventing Houston Outlaws to get any room or whatsoever. And I have to say, like, I was really impressed by the Gladiators.
Yeah. I think in general, though, hydration has got to be my player of the match. He played in a phenomenal role, particularly on the Oasis, and then even going forwards. So Omen by HP, player of the match. You got to give it to hydration.
Yeah, especially for his Pharah play, of course, but also because of his overall consistency. He was playing on King's Row, and sure, the Junkrat didn't get that much work done, which we wanted to. It hasn't been the flavor so far this meta.
Hanamura, though.
It did on Hanamura, yes, and that was one of the reasons why they got away with it. But really, it came down to the Raw, though. That was the X factor, in my opinion. I thought if the Gladiators win, they're gonna do it on Nepal, but instead, they got away with the win on Dorado. Much credit due to hydration, Pharah on Oasis, and later on, the Junkrat, of course.
And now do we have to start talking about the LA Gladiators as one of these best teams at the moment?
They are making the stage playoffs.
It looks very much like it, you got to say.
Yeah.
And the Houston Outlaws, when you consider where they're at, I would have had them as potentially one of, like a top 2 team coming into this. They clearly have holes that can be exploited. They weren't able to adapt or play dive.
Yeah, but they still look so impressive in this meta, so I feel like the Houston Outlaws, they will make the stage playoff as well, because LA Gladiators, they're looking like the best team in the league, honestly. They are so good when it comes down to it. So I think that them, the Houston Outlaws, we're looking at maybe the Philadelphia Fusion, and of course the New York Excelsior to get in there in the stage playoffs later.
It's got to be hydration, and I think he's going to send them on to a top place in the stage standings as well. They're actually looking like a really strong team right now.
Yep. I like it, I like it, I like it. Hydration doing big work here as our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Sorry, I got swarmed by fans. I lost my moment there. We are back, and we got to take a look at the stage standings. We're in stage 4, right? So all the teams are still in the running for our stage playoffs, and so far, and now top 4, we got Gladiators, Valiant, Fusion, and Excelsior. Johnny, who else should people keep their eyes on?
4, really, except for the Valiant, maybe. Valiant has been looking good so far, but are they going to make the stage
schedule, Johnny? It's the easy strength of schedule.
Yeah, it's the easy strength of schedule once again, really. So, going at the overall standings, we're looking at the Gladiators. They took over the Houston Outlaws. They're at 7th, and they could make a run for the season playoffs now. Even though they even got better map differential, plus 13, it could matter a lot.
Tomorrow we get a chance to see the Gladiators once again. They face off against the Mayhem. We'll also see the Fusion versus the Dragons to close things out as Philly tries to stay in the race. But tonight, we sign off with a reminder of the great birthday of Sideshow. Yes, it's Sideshow's birthday. He's going to be at Guildhall. If you're here in Burbank, go hang out with the guy. Get him a drink.
Just tell
For
him
now,
where I'm going to be.
We want to remind everyone else, Twitch All Access Pass is the best way to watch the Overwatch League on twitch.tv, and there's a special feature coming up. Who's the main tank? The greatest?
Sure.
The greatest, most handsome.
Handsomest main tank.
The one who's going to answer all of your questions. Send them right now. Fisher's going to be on the mic tonight.
They're singing happy birthday in the crowd.
The crowd is singing happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sideshow. That's going to do it for us here at the desk. Fisher coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early with more matches.